What's going on, everybody? It's Joe Genta with Trend Trading Academy. I'm here to help you trade and get paid. Listen, in today's video, we're going to give you the game, all right? We're going to give you something that's going to change the way you trade. You guys have been asking for it, and I'm about to give it to you. I'm giving you my swing trade strategy, what I personally use in these swing trades. I just caught 1,800 pips on GA, and I'm going to show you how I did it, all right? Before we get to the charts, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. If you're ready to become a student, you can visit the website, tradinggetpaid.com or trendtrading.academy. Go ahead and join the team. The students are making money. We're winning together. All right, so let's get to the charts. All right, guys, so let's take a look at these charts, and I'm going to show you how I caught this swing trade right here. And basically how I showed the team how to catch a nice high probability, low risk trade that, really went in our favor the whole time. It was pretty amazing. And we simply used trend lines to do it. And so first things first, any strategy that we use is always based on price action. We can look at 1,000 indicators. We can look at all the different things that we want to look at. But at the end of the day, price action is king. Price action dictates everything that we need to know if we're going to get into a trade or not, okay? And so right now, what's going on is that, this looks like a down move, this looks like an up move, but the truth is that we got to get a bigger picture. And when we do that, we kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'm on the weekly chart. When we look at the weekly chart, we can see that we've been in this upward swinging channel for 3.5 years now. I mean, GA has been on the rise for 3 years. You have your lows, you have your highs, and it's just been higher and higher for 3.5 years. And it seems as though at every horizontal level of support and resistance, if you look here, you'll find that that's where you get your slowdowns. But ultimately, this diagonal zone, this trend line that I have here showing this channel is really what is being respected over and over again. And we knew when we were up in this area here that we were going to be coming down to the bottom of the channel. And how do we know where to get in? How do we know where to get out? How do we know how long we can stay in? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, okay? So the first thing is we have to understand we've been in this channel for a while. We have horizontal levels that we'll get into. But when we take a look a little closer, here's the thing. We were in this uptrend, and we had a lot of movement right in here, this big wick. This is kind of where things started going a little bit crazy. We had Australian fires. We had the beginning of coronavirus, which pushed, price way outside of our channel here. Then we finally had a correction here with this big red engulfing candle, and it was at that time that I told the team, get ready because we're getting ready to get into a swing. And so let me show you what I did. First thing I did was this. I wanted to take and capture price within the smallest area that I possibly can. So the first thing I did was I cut off my old uptrend. So in the overall move up, we have numerous trends. We have an uptrend, a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, right? And those things move all throughout the whole bigger picture, which is a channel or an uptrend on the weekly chart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the most recent move, which is this uptrend here, and I'm going to drop a trend line on it. And it was here at this engulfing candle that it came right back to my trend line. It broke, retested, and then we found entry, which was pretty amazing because that gave us a lot of movement on the channel. And here's the reason why. Look at how beautiful this is. When we look here, if we're entering in the market in this area here, we don't have but a short amount, a short distance before it comes and hits the top of the channel. But the goal is the bottom of the channel, meaning that my risk reward was insanely in my favor. It was big time in my favor, which was great. So we have confirmation at the trend line break, and it ends up dropping all the way down, and it's just been a beautiful trade. And now it's broken at the bottom of our channel, and now we're trying to determine, is it going to retest and continue downward movement, or is this, just kind of like it did up here where it just kind of pokes out a little bit, no big deal, and it's going to work its way back in? Well, time will tell. But right now, what we're waiting on is, to see how price reacts to the bottom of this channel. So the first thing we do is we look at the weekly analysis, we cut off the price, and we try to find an area of breakout, which for us was the trend line. All right. Then it's very simple. We just go down to the daily chart and we confirm that what we see on the weekly is being confirmed on the daily. And so like you see here, we see this, it kind of retests and we get this beautiful move, and just all the way down, price just takes us all the way to the bottom of the channel. So the daily confirms up here exactly what the weekly was telling us. So now we find entry. If you've been on any of my classes, you know that I do my analysis on the weekly. I confirm on the daily. I find breakout entries on the 4 hour or retest entries on the 1 hour. So let's take a look at the 4 hour. We come back here like this on the 4 hour, and we can see, wow, look how beautiful this was. And I'm going to show you exactly how we knew to find entry. So here's the way we did this. All right. Number one, we knew at the breakout here that as soon as we saw this retest, we can get in here and just it dropped, consistently all the way to the bottom of the channel. However, there was so much more that was going on that was absolutely powerful, showing us exactly what price wanted to do. Many of you have heard of a fan, maybe a GAN fan or a pitch fan. There's a lot of different, tools that we can use. Pitch fan. You have the GAN fan here. There's the speed resistance fan. There's different fans that somebody can use. And what I've done is it's kind of like a custom made, right? When you buy a car and maybe there's 100,000 of them made, they're really not that expensive. But when you find like maybe a Bugatti that only 6 of them were made, you're like, wow, that car is super expensive because of the rarity of it. And a lot of it is just custom made. And so that's kind of what I've done. Rather than just using a simple fan, what I've done is I've used trend lines to create a fan that is custom built, that allows me to know exactly how long to stay in a trade and to know when to enter or exit a trade. The rule of thumb when using trend line breaks is that the third rejection or the third time that you have a break is generally high probability, not always, but high probability is that can be the reversal. Many times, the third time you see the trend line or the fan broken, that is when you see a reversal. So what we do is we go back to the original point of reversal, which is here. We wait for price to drop because everything comes back to price action, right? In order to have a downtrend, and this is the end of an uptrend, in order to have a downtrend, we have to have a couple of things happen. We have to have a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low, okay? So we have to have those things confirmed before we can see that this is a true reversal. So what happens? This is what we do. We go back to the original point of reversal. We wait for the new low to be set. We wait for the new high to be set. We're patient, guys. This is swing trading. And as soon as we see that high, lower high, what we do is we take a trend line and we 1, 2, go through. Okay? And this is what this allows us to do is this. We're here. We can enter a trade right here off the bottom of the trend line. And we know that we can stay in that trade until we see the trend line broken. We know that until that trend line is broken, until something is on, until we have confirmed direction on top the opposite side, in other words, of the trend line, then we know that we're going to stay in downward movement, okay, until we get that break. So the first one is this. It drops, it retests, we get our lower high, we drop our trend line, and we can enter here and stay in for, until we see it break. In this case, we knew that we had this trend line from the old trend that we were looking to have break anyway for our entry in the long swing trade. So for me, what I did was I entered the trade right here, but I used extreme caution, only using 1% until I ended up in this area. When I got here, I entered a secondary position with another 1%, and then I rode that all the way down, and I'll show you that in a minute. But what I found was beautiful entry right here because of this trend line, because as long as this trend line is not broken, then I know that I can ride that down. That in and of itself, if you just did that, you could take that and look at that, 560 pips just on the first move, just on the first move down. So we got our trend line. It broke right here and set what? We have a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? So now what do we have? We have a downtrend moving. Now we have a confirmed trend that's moving in our direction. And right about that time is when it broke our trend line, pushing us all the way down to the bottom of the channel. Okay? So what do? I don't go from the previous high. What I do is I take another trend line back from the original point of reversal. 1, 2. Right? And go through. And now, look what happens. The same principle that I used here, I can use here. I have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and I have a rejection right here. We have confluence at this trend area with this top of the channel. And now I know that as long as this trend line isn't broken, I can stay in this trade in the sale. So I get in here for another position. I take it all the way down and all the way to the bottom here, where I set my next lower low, break the trend line, and set a new lower high. So guys, this is really just simply following a trend, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Let me squeeze this in a little bit for you. Okay? So now what do? I go back to the original point of origin of reversal. Same thing I did before. 1, 2. All right? 1, 2. All the way through. And what do? I could get in right here, and I can, as long as that trend line is not broken, I know that I'm going to continue moving down until that trend line is broken. So, guys, this is like a no-brainer. I got in here. Watch this. I got in here for 500 and something pips. I actually got in maybe a little bit later than that immediate because, of course, you want to let the trend line form. So 500 or so pips out of that. 800 or so pips out of that. Guys, this is bananas. This stuff is unbelievable. And then this one, you could literally take this to the bottom of the channel, but instead what I did was I took it to the yellow line. I took it right down to the yellow line, all right? Right just before the yellow line, really. I told the team we're getting to a horizontal level of support, so it's time to start getting out. And so here's what happens is this. We end up getting in here, getting all the way down here, and all we didn't do anything fancy. All we did was use a trend line strategy, knowing when it was going to break, to ride the trend line all the way down until it broke, ride the trend line all the way down, and once we got to a level of horizontal support that we did not feel comfortable with anymore, we got out of the trade and we were done. But all in all, that trade ended up giving us, look at that, 1,800 pips, guys. 1,800 pips. 1750 right here. All right. Unbelievable. All we literally are doing is price action. I didn't show you an indicator. I didn't get on and go into all these different apps. All I did was use market structure and bank reversals to show you how long you can stay in the market and at what point you can get in and get out. Now, not only are you able to get the whole move, but now you're able to get the whole move. You're able to get a move here. You're able to get a move here. You're able to get a move here. So when you begin to understand how to trade and you can really be confident in what you're doing, making sure that you have a risk management plan in place, you start to put up 1% here, 1% here, 1% here, 1% here, and now suddenly you're going to make a ton of money with very low risk. You know, when we got in here, I mean, there's really not much to risk. When you get in here, the top of the channel is right here, so you're really not risking much, knowing you're going all the way down. When you get in here, you're using what used to be a floor that's now a ceiling, right? So if I were to break past here, well, this would no longer be a lower high. This would be a higher high. So now what do? I set my stop loss in here, and I'm only risking a very small amount of pips, a small amount of money, knowing that I have all of this potential in here as long as this trend line doesn't break. Now, the trend line broke again. The trend line broke again, all right? And so this time, what we do, we go right back to the beginning. We drop another one on there, right? We drop another one on there. And I believe that this time when you see it break, it's probably going to push all the way back up, right? Because you're probably going to end up getting a push here. It's going to try to retest in the area right here of this horizontal support where it is in confluence with the bottom of your channel. And once it breaks that, you're going to see it shoot all the way back up, and we're going to see it come back to the top of the channel. That's my thought. Am I 100% about that? No. Obviously, we need to see how price reacts to the bottom of the channel. But my thought is that I think it's going to break this trend line. It's going to break this area here, and then it's going to shoot all the way back up. Okay? So, guys, this stuff is super easy. Trend line, 1, 2, go on through, stay in it till the break. 1, 2, go on through, stay in it till the break. Wait for the new point of structure to be set. Wait for the new point of structure to be set. 1, 2, go on through. Wait for it to break. New point of structure. 1, 2, go on through. Wait for it to break. It's literally over and over again that we're doing the same thing over and over again to get amazing results in the market. Guys, you start combining this with pin bars. You start combining this with engulfing candles. You start combining this with volume strategies. You start looking at the vortex, which I'm not going to get into today, but you can see my video on the vortex. There's a lot that can be done here to really shore up your strategy and make sure that what you're doing is very high probability in your favor, and you're removing the leverage that the bank has against you or the broker has against you, and you're putting it into your own favor. All right, guys, there you have it. I hope this video helped you. This is the trend line strategy that I use. I make money with this strategy. My students make money with this strategy. I'm telling you, if you apply it, it's going to take your trading to the next level. So I really hope that it helped you. Don't forget, guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're over 33,000 subs now. Man, I feel like we were just at 25 and we're already pushing 35. Man, I appreciate you guys so much helping support the channel, growing the channel, getting the word out. And I promise you, I'm going to keep bringing more and more value all the time, all right? What I want you to do right now is, if you're ready to take what you learned today and combine it with something that's going to really take your trading to the whole next level, I want you to watch this video right here, because that pin bar entry video is going to help you understand how to find entry, and then the trend line video is going to teach you how to stay in the trade with your swing all the way down to the end. So combine those two and you got something powerful. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.